Ever since the Great Kingdom was introduced in the One Piece storyline, there has been so much buzz about what this kingdom was, their relationship with the world government, and how it connects to other mysteries like the Will of D, Joy Boy, Laugh Tale, the One Piece treasure, and the mysterious Devil Fruit Tree. So in this video, we'll be discussing what we currently know about the Great Kingdom, which can hopefully help us think about these questions and mysteries better. So the Great Kingdom was a powerful country that existed during the Void Century, which was between 900 and 800 years ago. At some point, they became powerful enough to dominate the world because of advanced technology and possession of three ancient weapons, Pluton, Poseidon, and Uranus. The success of their country, their beliefs, and their ideals went against the other kingdoms that existed at the same time. Now, many theorists think that the ideals of the Great Kingdom were along the lines of freedom and exploration, which countered ideals of power and authority that the other kingdoms that were present believed in. So this led to 20 countries to combine their forces and destroy the Great Kingdom around 800 years ago. Right after destroying the Great Kingdom, the Allied countries formed the world government 800 years ago. This was the crucial piece of evidence that allowed Clover to figure out the world government was the enemy of the Great Kingdom. However, towards the end of the Void Century, people of the Kozuki family used mineral ore to invent indestructible stones that are famously known as poneglyphs. They were written on in order to preserve knowledge that existed during the Void Century, including information about the Great Kingdom, Joy Boy, the Will of D, and the three ancient weapons. This knowledge is the biggest threat to the authority of the world government today. Because of this, the world government has banned the deciphering of the poneglyphs and justifies this by saying knowledge of the ancient weapons can end up in the wrong hands and be dangerous to the world. However, Clover does not think this is the true reason because learning about the weapons can instead help the world by allowing countermeasures to be made to reduce their danger. Clover tells us that the true reason the world government doesn't want poneglyphs to be deciphered is that they reveal information that directly threatens the authority and power of the world government. As quoted from Clover, this information is the ideas, history, and even existence of the Great Kingdom. Now, there have been many theories that follow this thought by saying the ideas that Clover mentioned are the values of freedom and exploration. This makes sense because it is a direct contrast to everything the world government represents, which is authority and control over others. These rebellious values of the Great Kingdom threaten the rule of the world government over the world. This dynamic also fits into the current theme of pirates and the Revolutionary Army versus the world government, because pirates and the revolutionaries fight for the very freedom for themselves that the world government is trying to take away. Now, the relationship between the world government and the Great Kingdom in the past was not so black and white, meaning that it wasn't so simple as the world government was the villain and the Great Kingdom was innocent. We know this from what Rayleigh has said, which is that by looking at the world with complete information about it, any two people can come to different conclusions about the history of the world. This means that there was likely a complex relationship between the Great Kingdom and the world government, where it wasn't simple to say who was right and who was wrong. It is instead more appropriate to say the two sides had different interests that couldn't be resolved, which eventually culminated in a great war. One theory that I've read from Lestrange and Boy Sabah on Reddit that I think comes closest to explaining what the true history was is that the Great Kingdom was a country ruled by pirates, or people who lived like pirates. They considered freedom to be the most important value in life and constantly explored the world. The historical inspiration for this is the Republic of Pirates, which was a loose confederacy that existed in the early 1700s. They were a lawless group in the Bahamas that fought against British control over their area. Many historical inspirations for pirates in One Piece were pirates from this republic, like Edward Teach and Sam Bellamy, who are Blackbeard and Bellamy in One Piece. This theory would fit well into the One Piece universe. It would explain why pirates are the main threat to the world government and the Marines. The countries that make up the world government have repeatedly shown an abuse of power and control over their people. One notable example is the Goa Kingdom of the East Blue, where Luffy, Sabo, and Ace are from. Here, the nobles rule over the country and throw out anyone who is not of sufficient social standing to the Great Terminal, which is a slum that people are left to die in without many resources. This theme is even more obvious when we look at the Celestial Dragons, who have total authority to the point where they can freely mistreat others anywhere and anytime they want. Ultimately, this supremacy from the world government is threatened by pirates who represent freedom. Pirates are branded as criminals and are considered evil in the status quo. Of course, there are pirates who are actually evil and do bad things. But it is not really the things they do that make them criminals, but the fact that they are pirates. In fact, having the title of Pirate King is the worst crime someone can have, regardless of how many actual crimes they committed. This is because this title is the guiding light of this rebellious idea of freedom. Roger, when he obtained this title, became considered the most wanted man in the world, even though there were others at the same time who did more terrible things than he did. In this light, concepts such as the Will of D really fits into this broader idea of freedom, and we can imagine with more confidence what people like Joy Boy and the Great Kingdom were really fighting for in the past. In the end, the norm is that pirates are the bad guys and the world governments are the good guys. Although the truth is of course more complicated than this simple relationship, in the end, the people in power call the shots and get to decide what is right and what is wrong. As Doflamingo has said, whoever wins in the end becomes justice. Thanks for watching, drop a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more.